अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। सर्वेभ्यो नमः। सर्वेषां कृते स्वागतं. Welcome to this session. Again, wish you a very happy Janmashtami, everyone. Today we will hear some narratives about our dearmost Sri Krishna. As I go through these narratives, I will chant a shloka or a few shlokas, and I'll ask you to guess the context. And when I ask you to guess, you must reply with your guesses in the chat box, because you can't speak to me at this moment. So let me begin with the first shloka. So this shloka is as follows. Govinda Dwarakavasi Krishna Gopijanapriya Kauravaif paribhutam mam kim na janasi Keshava. Let me see the next shloka. He Natha, He Ramanatha, Vrajanatharthinashana, Kauravarnava Magnam Mam Uddharasva Janardana. Krishna Krishna Mahayogi Vishwatman Vishwabhavana Prapannam Pahi Govinda Kuru Madhyeva Sidatim. So I want you to guess who says this to whom and in which text does this come. Who says these words to whom and in which text, which grantha are these shlokas given. The last one, Krishna Krishna Mahayogin Vishwatman Vishwabhavana Prapannam Pahi Govinda Kuru Madhye Vasidatim. Can anyone guess? So this person is calling out to Krishna for help. This person is in a difficult situation at this moment, and they are calling out to Krishna, please help me, please help me. I'm totally helpless right now. So just make an intelligent guess, who could it be and when? Anyone? Arjuna, Draupadi, either Arjuna or the Pandavas together, Draupadi. I'm seeing three answers as Draupadi. Arunabha also says Draupadi. Yes, that's the correct answer. It is Draupadi calling out to Sri Krishna in the Mahabharata, in the Sabha Parva of Mahabharata. Mahabharata is a very large grantha. It's probably the largest of all the texts that we have, and it has 18 parvas. The second parva of Mahabharata is called Sabha Parva, and in that we know the famous incident of Draupadi being insulted by the Kauravas. Dushasana very, very unkindly goes to her private chambers. She's actually in her monthly period at that time, and during that time, no one is supposed to enter the woman's quarters. He shamelessly goes in, he catches hold of her hair. Of course, first he asks her to come, but she doesn't come. So he catches hold of her hair and drags her into the assembly, and then he insults her and then starts disrobing her, starts pulling her sari. So at that time, earlier to that, she has actually pleaded to everyone for help, including her own husbands, her 5 husbands. But the circumstances are that even though they want to help her, they are completely helpless. Their hands are literally tied, or you can say figuratively tied. They are sitting there and they have lost the game of dice. Of course, that also was unfairly. But now they are unable to do anything to help her. They are furious inside, but they don't know what to do. And at that point of time, in her mind, she closes her eyes and mentally she thinks of Krishna and she calls out to him. She remembers that the sage Vasishta had taught her that in a stage of distress, you can reach out to Krishna and he will certainly respond. So she reaches out to him, and this is what she says. She says these three shlokas, and she says, please, please help me. I'm now only, you are my only shelter. There is nobody else. You are my only refuge. Please help me. So then what happens? We have heard this many times, but I will narrate this again. It's very important. How Krishna, who is now in Dwaraka, he hears this and he gets shaken. Somebody is calling out, Draupadi is calling out to me with so much earnestness, so much anxiety. So he gets up and he starts moving towards her. And then, as he moves towards her, he decides that the best way to rescue her is to enter into the sari which this fellow is pulling. So he enters into the sari, and then what happens? He is pulling the sari, and as he pulls the sari, a new sari emerges. So as he keeps pulling, newer and newer saris emerge until he is left with a huge heap of saris, and she is still very much fully clothed. There's nothing shameful in her appearance. So he's trying to shame her, but he's completely unsuccessful. So Krishna appears there. Only Draupadi knows what happened because she called him in her mind and nobody else can hear what she said. And she knows perfectly what happened. And she is weeping. She's crying in that situation. So seeing that, all the kings who are sitting there, most of them are against what is happening, but they are not able to speak out. So all of them, they feel so happy and they all applaud. There's a huge applause for the end result, and they condemn both Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana and Dushasana, the people who are perpetrating this. So this is Draupadi calling out to Krishna in anxiety. We should know that Draupadi actually is a Nitya Bhakta of Bhagavan. She's not just calling out at this point of time, she's always thinking about him. But at this point of time, she first does what she can do, calling out to her husbands, etc., and to others in the assembly to help her. But when that fails, she just turns to him and he immediately responds. Without hesitation, he responds and she is rescued. Now we'll go to the second narrative. In the second narrative, again, it is Draupadi calling out to Sri Krishna, again in the Mahabharata, but in a different parva. This is called the Vana Parva of Mahabharata, the third parva. And in this parva, this is what she calls out to him. Again, she is in great anxiety. Krishna, Krishna, Mahabaho, Devaki, Nandanavyaya, Vasudeva Jagannatha, Pranatarthi Vinashana, Vishwatman, Vishwajanaka, Vishwahartaf Prabhovyaya, Prapannapala Gopala, Prajapala Paratpara. So I want you to guess the context in which she calls out. Why is she calling out to him again, second time, and in a very similar manner? What is she calling out for? What happened? And how did he respond? How did he respond? Can you guess? From whatever general knowledge you have. It's okay if you're wrong, it doesn't matter. Mhm. Nandini says Rishi has come to their hut and they don't have food left. Kiran says she asked to give darshan when Durvasa Muni comes with his disciples. Any other guesses? Very good. So you're all correct. Durvasa Muni has come there. And now, to give you a background of why he came there, a little earlier to this incident, he actually has gone to Hastinapura. And there, now Duryodhana is ruling. He has successfully dispatched the Pandavas to their Vanavas, and here they are in this place, living a very peaceful life, not disturbing anyone, living in harmony with nature. And Duryodhana is not happy about it. Now, all the time, Duryodhana is thinking of ways to kill them or humiliate them at least. And so, when Durvasa appears there and Duryodhana very dutifully serves him, of course, Duryodhana serves him not because he has a mentality of doing seva, but he's scared that if he doesn't do service to Durvasa properly, he will get cursed by him. Durvasa is known for cursing, right? So Duryodhana serves him very, very well. He takes care of him very nicely. And at the end of his stay, Durvasa is very pleased with Duryodhana. So he asks him, I'm willing to give you a boon feel free to ask me whatever you like. And Duryodhana jumps at that opportunity. So he thinks of a careful plan. He says, go to the Pandavas, go to the place where the Pandavas are staying, but go there when Draupadi has finished her meal, when Draupadi has had her food, go there at that point of time, just after she has had her food. So Durvasa, of course, can understand why he's asking like that, but now he has offered him a boon, so he cannot refuse to do that. By left to himself, he wouldn't do something like that. So what is the reason for that? The reason is that now, you see, because the Pandavas are such pure-hearted people, and Draupadi too, uh, Suryadev has blessed them in the in their vanavas with a vessel called the Akshaya Patra. And it has been also given that the Akshaya Patra can generate food for any number of people when Draupadi wants it to, until Draupadi has her meal in that day. So on any given day, the Akshaya Patra can be used to generate as much food as required and feed any number of people until Draupadi herself has her food. After she has her food on that day, then on that day, the Akshaya Patra will become ineffective. And only next day after sunrise, it will be revived, it can be revived again. So Draupadi, naturally being, the person taking care of all of them, you see, she's very strong-hearted person. So she eats last. She ensures that everybody has their meal and then she has her meal. So now Durvasa has to do this kind of activity. So he does what he has promised to Duryodhana. So he turns up at this ashram, and he suddenly turns up and the Pandavas see him, Yudhishthira and his brothers, and they go there, receive him very warmly with all respect, and they honor him. And now Draupadi has finished her lunch, so they don't know, but they have to make the offer. So they offer, they say, please go to the river, have your bath and come back. And then it's understood that they are coming back for lunch. So the sage and his disciples, large number of disciples, the Mahabharata says 10,000 disciples. Okay, whether it's actually 10,000 or not doesn't matter. It's a very large number that not practical to feed like this. So the Pandavas, they're now thinking, because they have offered this and they're now thinking what to do. But Draupadi, she's the one who feels the most responsible. So she knows that now the Akshaya Patra cannot produce any more food for today. So what can I do? She thinks very hard, but she gets no solution. So immediately she calls out to Krishna, and this is what she asks Krishna, that please, please help me again. I am now in trouble. And there's one more shloka in which he says, just like you helped me in the assembly, protected me against the Kauravas, please come to my protection again. And once again, it is described that Krishna is sitting with the mother Rukmini, and he gets up and he vanishes from the place where he is with Rukmini, and he appears in the forest. He physically appears this time in front of Draupadi. He becomes Pratyaksha in front of her. Earlier, he came as this sari and nobody could see him, but now he comes as in his own form, appears before Draupadi, and he comes running to her. And Draupadi sees him and she's so pleased. She's so happy that he answered her call immediately. And he comes running and she welcomes him. She bows down to him, offers her respects, and all the Pandavas, they respectfully receive him. And then, as soon as he reaches there, he tells her, he hears what she has to say. She says that, look, this is what happened. Durvasa turned up and now he's gone to the river. He's going to come back anytime. And I don't have food to feed him. Please give me some suggestion. Help me to get this food for these people. So he hears that, but even after hearing that, he says, look, I have come here, only for you, and I'm tired. I'm hungry. I'm thirsty. First, feed me something. First, feed me something. So she is surprised to hear that request from Krishna, because she has called him to produce food and she has told him that she can't produce any more food now. And here he's asking for food and water. So she tells him that, she's feeling very shameful that, look, she has called somebody as a guest. See, Durvasa came without being invited, but he has been invited and she doesn't have anything to offer. And now, on top of that, he himself is asking for food. So you have invited somebody and you can't feed him, but now he is asking, please feed me. What will she do? She's totally embarrassed. And she hangs her head in shame and she tells him in a very humble voice that, look, Krishna, I produce food with the Akshaya Patra only, and now this is the situation. I've already had my food. What to do? And I can't produce any food for you. I'm really, really helpless. She tells that to him and she scolds her. He says that, don't waste my time talking to me like this. Just go and bring that Akshaya Patra. Go, get it. Let me see whether it can produce something or not. So she's confused. She doesn't know what to do. So she quickly goes to the kitchen because he has ordered her now. He's instructing her very emphatically. So she goes, she brings the Akshaya Patra to him and she hands over to him. So he just takes it and he looks inside. It's empty and he looks all over. And in one corner, he finds a small piece of vegetable, which probably while washing did not get washed away. So that small piece of vegetable is still sticking to that Akshaya Patra. So he just takes it. He says, look, there is something still left here. And he puts it in his mouth. And then Sri Vasudevji in Mahabharata describes that how when the master of the universe, in whom the entire universe resides, has been fed, then every living being in this universe has been fed. That with that one action, even if it's a small morsel, the entire universe has now been fed. And Krishna says this actually in his own words. Vyasdevji writes it with Krishna saying it. Krishna says that now with this, the master of the universe has been fed. He's referring to himself indirectly, and the entire universe is therefore also fed with this. So then this is over, but they still don't have a solution. There's no food for feeding for Durvasa and others. So without looking at that, Krishna just calls to Sahadeva and he tells Sahadeva, now go to the river and bring them and come. So Sahadeva, being an obedient, bhakta of Bhagavan, so he just follows. He doesn't ask him what will happen if they come and there is no food. No such questions. Probably we would ask that if we were in his shoes, but he just goes to the river, thinking that Krishna is in control. If Krishna is in control, then everything is all right. So he goes to the river and he goes there, he doesn't find anyone there. The river is empty. And he searches around everywhere and at last he sees some sages who are living by the river, and he asks them, did you see all these people, a great saint, was supposed to be here and his disciples, so many disciples, did they ever come here? They say, yes, yes. And they narrate what happened. They say that they were here, they were taking bath in the river, and all of a sudden they all came out and they all ran away. And we saw them running away in different directions. So Sahadeva doesn't know what to do, and he comes back because he has to now report to Krishna that they are not going to come back, they have run away somewhere. He's puzzled, he doesn't know why that has happened. Meanwhile, Vyasdevji narrates to us what really happened. So the moment Krishna put that small piece of vegetable into his mouth, there in the river, as the disciples were taking bath, they were taking their dips and chanting their mantras, suddenly all of them feel completely full. In fact, they feel so full that the food is up to their neck and there's no possibility that they can have even a little bit more. Absolutely no space left. It's like we have overeaten. Imagine that we have gone to a party or something and we got enamored with the food and the environment and everything, and we went on eating. We ate everything that was there and more kept coming and we kept eating that too. And finally, we're so full that we can't even move ourselves. We just, fall down on some couch or something and we want to just be there. That kind of situation. So they somehow drag themselves out of the river and they check with each other and they realize that all of them are feeling that way and they are puzzled as to why they are feeling like that. And then they go to Durvasa Muni and then they go to their guru and they ask him, they explain the situation to him and they say that this is what happened. We are so full that now we are scared because we have told the Pandavas that we are going to come back for lunch. We have sort of made them ready to prepare food for us, and now they would have prepared for us. So if we go back, what will happen? We won't be able to, So then Durvasa also sees the reality. He says that yes, yes, very true. And he recollects an earlier incident when he actually ended up offending a great bhakta of Vishnu called Ambarisha, the king Ambarisha. This story comes in the Bhagavatam. So Durvasa remembers it here, and Vyasdevji narrates that when he remembers that, immediately he realizes that these Pandavas also are bhaktas of Krishna, Vishnu, and something must have happened. Vishnu must be protecting them in some way. In his earlier experience with Ambarisha, with offending Ambarisha, he had been actually completely humiliated. He had tried to kill Ambarisha, but eventually he ended up being humiliated and he had to beg pardon. Even though Ambarisha does not do anything, he is protected by the Sudarshan Chakra of Vishnu. So this time he realizes something must be going on, and let's not mess with the bhaktas of Krishna. So he tells his disciples the best thing to do now is to just vanish from here. We can't go back and we can't even explain that we are full. Something must have happened. Let's just get away from here. So they get away from there, and Sahadeva comes back, and Krishna, for some time, behaves as if he's also puzzled. He doesn't understand what happened. And eventually he reveals to them that this is what happened, and they are very happy. And then he politely takes their permission. And that's where you see the humility of God. Although he rescued them, he begs their permission. He says that, please permit me, I want to now go back to Dwaraka. So this story ends in this beautiful manner. Now, as we go on to the third story, सारथ्यं तु त्वया कार्यम् इति मे मानसं तदा मानसं सदा चिररात्रे पीप्सितं कामं तद्भवान् कर्तुमर्हति. There's only one shloka I will cite here. This is one among three shlokas, but I'm citing the third one. Sarathyam tu tvaya karyam iti me manasam sada chiraratrepsitam kamam tadbhavan kartumarhati. So the speaker is speaking to someone and he is saying something, and I want you to try to guess. You can use the words. You can try to see what words are used here and see if you can guess the context in which this was spoken. I'll give you a clue if you are not able to guess, but first try to guess. Even if you're wrong, it's perfectly all right. Don't worry. It's a very beautiful shloka and it has a lot of implication for us too. Spoken by Bhishma Deva, Apeksha says. Well, you're close, but it's not Bhishma, it's someone else. Nandini says Arjun to Krishna. Okay, Nandini, in which context Arjun spoke this to Krishna? Your answer is correct, actually. Arjuna speaks this to Krishna. But where? Can you guess? In which context does he speak this to Krishna? Can you guess? When Krishna gets up from sleep, okay, when Krishna was the charioteer in the Mahabharata war. Rohit, can you elaborate on that? When Krishna gets up from sleep, I couldn't understand. Why would Arjuna say this to Krishna when he gets up from sleep? Any guesses? No? You want to pass the question? Okay, no problem. Okay, Rohit has an answer. When Duryodhana and Arjuna go to Krishna to seek his support. Yes. Very good. Excellent. So you guessed correctly, and let me explain the background. It's very beautiful how just when it has been decided to have the war, there is no other alternative. The war is the only solution to this problem. Otherwise, the Kauravas will never give up the kingdom, and if they rule the kingdom, only adharma will prevail. So they have to be removed. So now both parties, Duryodhana's side and Yudhishthira's side, are looking for support. And both of them come to know that Krishna is now moving from Vidarbha to Dwaraka. So on the way, so both approach Krishna. Arjuna is sent by Yudhishthira to go to Krishna, and here Duryodhana himself goes. And Duryodhana, when he realizes that Krishna may anytime reach Dwaraka, but I should try to catch him before that, he takes his fastest horses and goes there. And he goes so fast that he reaches Krishna's accommodation, wherever Krishna is staying, before Arjuna reaches there. So he enters first and he finds Krishna sleeping, so he doesn't try to wake him up. Instead, he finds a simhasana. A simhasana is a throne, and that throne is close to the head of Krishna. So he goes and sits, he plops himself down on the throne, and he thinks, okay, let this guy wake up, then I'll ask him. He's extremely eager that Krishna and his army. Krishna has a huge army, it's called the Narayani Sena. It is said to consist of some crores of soldiers. Well, even if it is not crores, it's some big number, huge number. Uh, and it's said to be very powerful. It's empowered by Krishna. It has Krishna's strength in it. So such an army is with Krishna. So if somebody gets that Sena, then they really become very powerful. So he badly wants that. And a short while later, after Duryodhana comes, Arjuna enters, and it doesn't matter to him that Duryodhana is sitting because he thinks of himself as a bhakta. He's a bhakta, so he goes to the feet of Krishna. Where do bhaktas go? Bhaktas go and stand at the feet of Krishna. Their mind is always on the feet of Sri Bhagavan. So he goes and stands at the feet, and he is patiently waiting for Sri Bhagavan to wake up. Then Sri Bhagavan, after some time, opens his eyes. He is awake now, and he sees both of them, Duryodhana and Arjuna. And he addresses them, he welcomes them. He says, welcome, welcome. It's good to have both of you here. And you have come here for something, I guess. And as he speaks and welcomes them, immediately Duryodhana starts speaking. He says, Krishna, yes, yes, I have come to you because I want your support in the army. So Duryodhana realizes or thinks that if I speak first, then he will give me. So he speaks first and he says, Krishna, look, I want your support in the war because your army is so powerful and I have been such a good person. He praises himself and he says, I want your army, I want your support. And I should also tell you that between the two of us, between Arjuna and me, I came first. I entered first, and Dharma says that the person who comes first, appears first for help, should be given the help. And therefore, logically, you should help me. Okay, so he says this to Krishna and he stops speaking. Then Krishna responds. He says that, well, both of you have come and both of you are, connected to me in some way. So therefore, I will give both of you something. I'll offer two things and I'll ask you to choose between them. One is, I will give my entire army to one of you. My army will be by itself. I will not be there on that side. I will be on the other side. Whichever side gets my army, I'll be on the opposite side. And on the side on which I am, I will not fight. I will not lift any weapon. I'll just be present on that side. So I will give the choice to you both, but I can only give the first choice to one of you. And because I saw Arjuna first, he sees Arjuna first because he's standing there. But Krishna doesn't say that. He says, because Arjuna is younger between the two of you, Arjuna is younger to you, Duryodhana. So the Niti, the Shastra also says that when a choice has to be made, then the younger one is given the choice first, option first. After he chooses, the elder one gets the remaining. And therefore, I give Arjuna the choice. For Arjuna, which one of these two do you want? Now, naturally, Duryodhana's heart sinks. He thinks that it's gone now. But to his very pleasant surprise, Arjuna chooses to have Krishna on his side, a Krishna who will not fight, a Krishna who will not lift any weapon, but just remain passive on that side. So when Arjuna says that, I want you, Duryodhana is thrilled. Now he came for the army of Krishna. Of course, one more person, Krishna, also would have been there if Arjuna did not come or if he got the first choice. But now it doesn't matter because the army is so big that the absence of one person, Krishna, how does it matter? So Duryodhana is thrilled with what he got. He thanks Krishna and he just walks out. And he goes to Balaram because he also wants Balaram on his side and he vanishes from there. So after Duryodhana goes, Krishna to Arjuna and asks him, Arjuna, I gave you the first choice and you could have easily chosen my army, but you chose me and I said I will not fight, I will not lift any weapons. So I'm not able to understand the logic. Why did you choose this? Why did you make this choice? You should have chosen my army, no? So then Arjuna responds to that in three shlokas. And this is the third shloka where he concludes. He says that I have been thinking for many, many days that I want you as my charioteer in the war. And now that is only possible if you are on my side. And so please be on my side and please be my charioteer. It does not matter for me if you don't fight. And in the first shloka, before he says this, the two other shlokas, in the first of the three shlokas, he has already said this, that he says that, look, Krishna, you know very well, and I also know that You alone can defeat the entire Kaurava army without any help. Not only you, but by your grace, by your kripa, I alone, even I alone can defeat the entire Kaurava army. So I know this very well. So how does it matter if your army is not with me? I want you with me. And I want you not just on my side, but I want you as my charioteer. And this shloka has a very deep meaning. The first meaning, obviously, is that charioteer here is not only for that physical chariot which he is riding, but as a guide for life. That is what he means here. That please be my guide. Please coach me. Please mentor me. Please guide me. Please show me the way. Please show me what the correct way. Please show me how to live my life. Please show me how to make the correct decisions in my life. That is what he means by Sarathi. Okay, it's not just to drive the chariot because that anyone can do. But here he means that please be my guide for life. Please give me the intelligence. Please give me the buddhi by which I do the right things. I never do anything that is adharma. I never do anything that is displeasing to you. Okay, and this is the lesson for us, that if we have God as our charioteer, by charioteer not mean somebody who drives our car, but somebody who guides us all the time, who drives the decisions that we make in our life and gives us the intelligence by which we will do the right things always, then how can there be any failure in life, right? That is success. So this is what he is trying to point out. And here another interesting question that comes is that, well, why did Krishna gave the choice first to Arjuna? Because anyway, Krishna being Bhagavan himself, he is Paramatma, he is in everybody's heart. So he knows what everyone thinks. So he knows well what Duryodhana would choose if he were given the first choice. And he also knows what Arjuna would choose. So why did he give Arjuna the first choice? Because there is a risk in doing that. The risk of giving Arjuna the first choice is that Krishna is partial to those who worship him. He knows, everybody knows that Arjuna is a bhakta of Krishna, whereas Duryodhana does not worship Krishna. So by giving Arjuna the first choice, Krishna has put himself at the, or exposed himself to the risk in public opinion that he always gives his bhaktas the choice. He's partial to his bhaktas. So why would he do that? So here, actually, it is not because of any reason except that if he had given Duryodhana the first choice, obviously Duryodhana would have chosen the army, and then Arjuna would be left with Krishna without, Krishna who does not fight. So then the world would say that, look, if Arjuna was given the choice, Arjuna also would have chosen the army. But now he had no choice. He was eliminated. So he had to pick Krishna. He picked Krishna not because he is a bhakta, but because he had no choice. Right? So he wanted to show the world, Krishna wanted to show the world that, look, my bhaktas will always come for me. They don't go for my wealth. They don't want my wealth. Duryodhana chose Krishna's wealth, Krishna's opulence, his Aishwarya, whereas my bhaktas will choose me above anything else. So Krishna wanted to demonstrate this. They're willing to sacrifice everything if they can have me and if they can have my guidance. To show this, Krishna gives Arjuna the first choice. Although he knows that it doesn't matter. It's like in a match of cricket, sometimes we say that it's a what do you call, inconsequential toss, we say. Because it doesn't matter if one side won the toss, they would choose bowling, the other side would have anyway chosen batting. So the toss is inconsequential. So it's just like that. Here, the choice is actually inconsequential because anyway, it's well known what either would choose to Krishna. But still, he gives Arjuna because he doesn't want this misconception in public that Arjuna was left with no choice. He had choice, and with choice, he said that I want Krishna, I don't want his army. And that is his glory. He wants to put Arjuna in his right position as a very glorious personality. So this is the third story for today, and let's now go to the fourth one. I hope you are liking, and I hope these stories are helping you to connect with Krishna. And in the fourth one, okay, this is already over. I have already shown all this. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Kimupayanamanītam Brahman me bhavata grihat Anvapyupahritam bhaktaihi Premna bhuryeva me bhavet Anvapyupahritam bhaktaif Premna bhuryeva me bhavet Bhuryapyabhaktopahritam Namettoshaya kalpate. So, who says this to whom and in what context? Can anyone guess? Please try. Who says this to whom and in what context? You can guess at least a part of this answer from the initial words here. Who is speaking to whom and in which text and in what context? Okay, you can make out that Krishna is speaking because it says Sri Bhagavan Vacha. And in whichever text, when Krishna or Vishnu speaks, it will always say Sri Bhagavan Vacha. It will never say Sri Krishna Vacha, right? So you can guess that Krishna is speaking. And so to whom is he speaking? And can you also guess the text in which this shloka is present and in what context is this shloka spoken by Krishna? Who can guess? Try. It doesn't matter if you have a wrong answer. It doesn't matter at all. Anjali says Krishna speaks to Sudama. Okay. Anjali, can you give us some background on that? Why is Krishna speaking to Sudama and in which text will this come? I'll wait for Anjali's response. Are you typing Anjali? Or anyone else? If, as Anjali is typing, anyone else what wants to guess? Uh, I'm not saying Anjali's answer is correct. I want you to guess anyway, independent of her. Okay. Bhaskar's answer is when Sudama offers the rice when he visits Dwaraka. Okay. Anjali is saying that even a small gesture with love is more valuable to more than anything. Wonderful. So Anjali is able to understand the Sanskrit, I can guess. Very good. Yes, the answers are correct. This is Krishna speaking to Sudama, and this is in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Dashama Skanda of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Sudama has come to Krishna, and the background is as follows. Sudama, as we know, is a very pure-hearted Brahmana, and he's staying with his wife, and both of them are extremely, emaciated. Their bodies are emaciated. They are totally, they hardly have anything to eat, but they don't try to earn money. Brahmana's life, a Brahmana does not do business. A Brahmana does not earn money, although they are permitted to under emergencies. But their purity is so high that they wait for anything to come of its own accord and it doesn't come. So they are almost starving every day. And their clothes are tattered, they don't have proper clothes to wear. That's why Sudama is called Kuchela. Kuchela means one who doesn't have a proper garment or his garment is, in tatters, in bad condition. Similarly, his wife is called Kuchela. Kuchela, Kuchela. So his wife goes to him and she says to him, because she can't bear the thought of her husband suffering like this. She's a pativrata. A pativrata always thinks of her husband's welfare. So she goes to Sudama, her husband, and she tells him, I can't bear to see you suffering like this. And I know that you have a great friend who is very rich. He lives in Dwaraka. You studied with him. You went to school with him. He's your schoolmate, classmate. So, and he's known to be a very kind person. He's not selfish at all. And anybody who comes to him for help, he helps, readily helps. So, why don't you ask him for a little bit of help? It's not that we want to become rich people, but we just want something by which we can survive, we can live. Please ask him for a little bit of wealth. And I'm sure that he will help you. Don't hesitate to ask him. Sudama doesn't want to do that. He has no heart to go to Krishna and ask him for wealth because he's a pure Shuddha Bhakta. Shuddha Bhakta has prema. He only thinks, what can I do for Krishna? He never thinks, what can I ask from Krishna? Even in Shuddha Bhakti, it is permitted to ask in the situation of emergency. If somebody is dying or somebody is in a very, like Draupadi asked, it is not wrong to ask like that. But even then, Sudama's heart is so soft that he doesn't want to ask him anything. He feels ashamed at the thought that I should ask him something. I should always think of what I can do for him, what I can do to please him. So thinking like this, he doesn't want to, you know, ask him anything. So he doesn't know what to say, but he thinks, now that my wife is asking me to go to Dwaraka, it's a great opportunity to see my best friend again. He remembers all the beautiful days he had with him in school in his Gurukul time. And he thinks now this is an opportunity to see Krishna again. And now, what does he look like? How is he living now? What does he look like? Let me have a look at him, and good chance to meet him and talk to him. So he decides to go, and he asks his wife that, okay, please give me something that I can carry to give him. I can't go empty handed, no? So she doesn't know what to give. There's nothing in the house to give. So she quickly goes to the neighbors and manages to collect some quantity of flat rice, okay, chida or chuda. So she collects that chuda or chida, whatever we call it, and she comes and she puts it in a small bundle and she gives it to him, and he ties it to his veshti. He ties it to his veshti and he goes with that. So he does not think that, I'm taking this for Krishna, because Krishna has much more than this. For me, this is an opportunity to see him. So he goes, and finally he reaches Dwaraka and he enters along with so many other Brahmanas who are entering the palace. He enters with them, and he sees enormous amount of opulence, enormous amount of richness in the palace. And he's walking, and all the 16,000 odd wives of Krishna, their palaces are all there. And finally, he finds the palace, one of them, in which Krishna is currently present. And he's sitting there with Rukmini. And he enters there. And as soon as he enters, Krishna comes there and receives him with a lot of warmth. And Krishna embraces him, and he makes him sit down. He washes his feet. And Rukmini comes running and she starts fanning him. And then they start talking to each other. And meanwhile, people around are watching this and they think, this guy, who's this fellow who's come? He looks even more, miserly than a beggar. He's like, got all his bones are showing. And such a person, why is our master, going and embracing and is washing his feet and all that? They are not able to understand. So meanwhile, Krishna gives the best service that he can give with all respect to Sudama. Sudama is a Brahmana, right? Krishna is a Kshatriya. So he's sitting there and he worships his feet, offers him respect, and gives him everything, fans him. And then they talk about different things. And finally, Krishna asks him that, nobody comes empty handed. So definitely you brought something for me. So Sudama doesn't know what to say now. He never thought he will ask him. Because nobody asks, no? When you go to somebody's house, anybody asks you, what have you brought for me? Normally nobody does. If you have brought something, you yourself will give it, right? If you don't have anything, then you will not give. So nobody wants to embarrass you. So, but here now, Krishna has asked him. Krishna does not think he will be embarrassed. He just asks him. And so Sudama doesn't know what to say. He's feeling so ashamed that what have I brought? This person, my best friend, is so rich. I can't give him anything that is worthy of him. So he just keeps quiet. He doesn't respond. And then Krishna then reaches out to the bundle, to that small bundle on his veshti, and he grabs it from there. He snatches it. And he says, "Oh, I know, Sudama, you have brought something for me. I know that you have brought and you're hiding. Let me see what it is." And so he opens it. He says, "Wow, you brought some real nice flat rice for me, chida for me." So he puts his hand inside and he opens it and he puts it into his mouth. And again, the same thing happens, that when Krishna eats something, everything in the universe is fulfilled. So he then puts his hand into it second time and he wants to again put in his mouth with great relish. That time Rukmini comes and stops him. She says, "Stop." She holds his hand and she says, "Stop." Because already with that one morsel that you have had, everything is achieved. There's nothing more for you to do. Stop. So these are deeper meanings in this. And then Krishna stops and that part is over. And then they continue to talk. And then they spend late night, they go late into the night, they talk about all the different, just like, if you are to meet your alumni, of the previous institution where you studied, maybe your friends, or what would you talk? You talk about all the mischief that you did, and the different teachers that you had, and etc. etc. So they talk about Sandipani, their guru. They talk about the different adventures. Particularly one adventure where they got caught in a storm, They talk about all that. It's late in the night, and then Sudama is given a room, and he's given the most lavish stay that possible that he has ever seen, and he stays there the whole night. He has a wonderful night. He's thinking about Krishna whole night, and next morning it's time to go. So as he leaves, Sudama is thinking that, what am I? I'm nothing. I'm just a small particle of dust. Of course, his wife has sent him there to ask Krishna for help, but that thought never comes to his mind. It never occurs to him that I've come here because my wife sent me to ask him for help. Because right in the beginning, he has decided that he is not going to ask Krishna anything, and his purpose of coming here was to only see Krishna and to again connect with him. So that is over now, and it never comes to his mind that, what will I tell my wife after I go back? So he just goes back, and all the time he's thinking how great Krishna is. And what am I in front of Krishna? I'm nothing. I'm just a small particle of dust. I'm nothing. So he goes back. And meanwhile, Krishna is thinking, what a great person this person is. His wife had sent him here to ask me for wealth. Krishna knows everything, he's in his mind. But he did not ask me anything. And he was so humble, such a great personality. I will give him something that even Indra in Swargaloka does not have. I'll give him something completely unparalleled in this world, in this universe. So as Sudama goes back, we know what happened. He goes back and he is not able to recognize the place. It looks like Vaikuntha. It's so much opulent. And he goes back and he then tries to look for his house. He doesn't find his house. And then his wife comes running to him, and she's so beautiful. I mean, she's adorned. I mean, even otherwise, I guess she's beautiful, but she is now adorned with great amount of wealth, and she's wearing very rich clothes, and everywhere there are servants attending to her, and they come to him to attend to him, and he's completely puzzled. And she tells him, and then immediately he realizes that this is what happened. Krishna has blessed us with this. And he decides that I will not be enamored by this, because for me, I don't want any of this. I don't want any of this. I didn't go to Krishna looking for this. What I want is that pure love. And today, I experienced a drop of that pure and genuine love. He realizes that. And he says, birth after birth, he prays there that birth after birth, may that love, that experience of that love with Krishna, may that continue. I don't want any opulence. I don't want anything else other than that love. There's nothing greater than that love. He says this. So this is the beautiful story of Sudama. It's a fascinating story, and it's possible to go into a lot of nuance in this story if you read the Bhagavatam in its original form. I have made it very short because we have limited time. And now the last story for today. And I want you to hear this shloka and then guess. Okay, probably some of you will be able to guess right away. It says, Tadhama badhyamanasya swarbhakasya कृतागसः द्व्यङ्गुलोऽनम् अभूत्तेन सन्धदे अन्यच्च गोपिका यदासीत्तदपि न्यूनं तदोन्यदपि सन्धधे तदपि द्व्यङ्गुलं न्यूनं यदादत्तबन्धनम्. Two very beautiful shlokas. Again, please guess in which context is this described. I'm not asking who spoke to whom. That also we can answer later, but in which context and in which text is this described? Which story does this come in? Look at the words and try to see if you can construct a context. All of you know this story. This is not a unheard of story. Everybody knows this story. And it's a very, very sweet story. Krishna and the Gopikas. Okay, you saw the word Gopika and guessed this. Okay, which Gopi? There's one particular Gopi involved here. There is, yes, Krishna and Gopi is correct answer, but I want you to guess the name of the Gopi. See if you can get it right. Okay, I'll give you a clue. It is not a Gopi with whom Krishna has his Rasa Lila. Yes, Bharat Bhushan. Yashoda Ma, correct. That's the correct answer. Very good. This is Yashoda Ma. She tries to bind her baby Krishna, and when she binds him, she tries to bind him. These two shlokas are written there in the Bhagavatam. This is actually spoken by Shukamuni to Parikshit, and Vyasdev ji expresses what happened. So we know what happened. I'll again quickly narrate it. Yashodama begins to, she's doing her usual day-to-day routine activity of churning the buttermilk for butter. And as she does it, she's swaying a beautiful. It's a description of Yashodama's personal beauty. She's a cowherd woman, but she's very charming to look at, and her beauty is described. And as she's churning, she's sweating and her hair is shaking and her flowers in her hair are shaking, etc., etc. At that time, her baby comes running to her and he climbs onto her lap, just like a small baby, or let's say a 2-year-old child. It comes to its mother and wants to sit on the lap of the mother, regardless of what the mother is doing. And it comes and it climbs on her lap. At that point of time, uh, she's going on churning, and she notices after some time that the milk in the kitchen, neighboring room, the kitchen, is now just boiling over. It's about to boil over. So she lifts Krishna and she puts him on the side, and she runs to the kitchen to turn off the stove or whatever, remove the pan from the stove. And when that happens, Krishna here gets upset. He thinks my mother has neglected me, and with great anger, he goes away from that room. He picks up a rod and he goes and breaks a big pot of butter. And he goes and he climbs on some kind of a big vessel which is upturned. He climbs on the vessel and reaches out to the pot that he has broken. And from that pot, butter is falling. So he eats that butter and he feeds it to the monkeys nearby. Mother Yashoda comes out of the kitchen and she doesn't find him there. So she wonders what happened. Just now I left him. Where is he vanished? So she starts searching, and then she sees some pots broken here and there. And then she goes to another room and she finds this guy standing on that upturned pot, and he's feeding butter to the monkeys. Ah, this fellow is up to some mischief. Okay, let me fix this guy, for permanently fix him. I'll teach him a lesson. So she walks quietly, very, very quietly. She walks, in a way that he cannot see her. And just as she's about to catch him, he notices that she has come. So quickly he jumps from that thing and he runs. He starts running with all the speed that he can. And Mother Yashoda chases behind him. And here Shri Vyasdev describes that how Mother Yashoda was so fortunate that, great yogis, they try to just get a glimpse of him in their heart, but they're not able to do that. And here, Mother Yashoda, her purity, her love is so pure that she gets the opportunity to chase that Bhagavan, that even great tapasvis and yogis are trying to just get a small glimpse of. So she chases him here and there, and after some time, he allows her to catch him. So she catches hold of him, and by then he is weeping because he knows that he's like he's in the position of a baby who has done something very wrong, and he's trying to escape from the parent who is angry and who is trying to punish him, and he now knows that he has been caught. So, knowing that he has been caught, he is now crying. The only thing he can do now is cry. He cannot free himself because she's holding his hand tight. He cannot free himself from her hand. So, he's crying and he's rubbing his eyes. And in the rubbing, all the ointment, what is it called? Kajal. We call it kajal in Hindi, right? That is all smearing all over his face. All the black kajal is now spreading on his face, and his tears are flowing, and he's crying, and he's hoping that she will. Expression is he's hoping that she will spare him and not punish him. And she goes and she's scolding him. She's scolding him. I'll teach you a lesson. I'm going to really punish you this time. I'm not going to spare you. I've got so many complaints against you, and this will be the last time. I will not tolerate anymore. So she takes him and she says, "What do I do?" Now she goes to the place, where she started from, and she now thinks, "What can I do with this fellow? He's so small and he's helplessly crying now. I don't want to punish him. I don't want to punish him." The moment she sees his eyes, she realizes that, I can't punish this boy. He's so innocent, he's so sweet. I can't punish my own baby. So then she changes her mind and then she thinks, okay, at least I should do something so he allows me to work. He won't disturb me. The best thing to do is until I finish my work, I'll tie him to this mortar. So there's some grinding mortar nearby. She goes there and she picks up a rope which is lying nearby and she ties it to the mortar and then she tries to tie it to his waist. And as she's trying it to his waist, as she's trying to tie it to his waist, she finds that it's just short by 2 fingers, by the width of 2 fingers. So then she says, okay, just hold on. She finds another rope and she ties it to this first one and again starts tying around his waist. And to her surprise, again, second time too, it again falls exactly 2 fingers short. And so she collects one more rope and the same thing happens. And she collects one more and she collects one more. And she's puzzled, and all nearby gopis are standing and they're watching this. They're watching this spectacle and they are giggling. They're quietly giggling because they don't want to, irritate her. But they are very amused by what's going on, and they know that Krishna is doing this. So Yashoda is not able to figure that out. So she's going on tying and trying, and finally Krishna says that, my mother, in his mind, he says that so sincerely she's trying to tie me up with that so much love. Now let me give in. And he gives in. And finally, she ties him up. She does not realize what happened. She ties him up and she goes away. She goes to the kitchen and to do her work. So, in this narrative is that expression of love and how Sri Bhagavan, God, whom we call God in English, gives himself when that love is present. Okay. Of course, it's not that we should imitate now and try to, think of ourselves chasing God and catching him. That will be just imagination. That's material imagination. We should not do that. We should aspire for the purity by which God will come to us in that form, in that way by which, you know, he welcomes us to, he reciprocates our love. So, what is that love? What is that genuine love? In these narratives that we heard today, this genuine love is known in the Indian knowledge system as prema or preeti. And what is this preeti about? It's that intense eagerness to serve. It's called seva bhav. Its another name is seva bhav. And seva bhav is that intense eagerness to serve, to offer service without reciprocation. So here, service means to whom? Obviously, to God, to Krishna. Then we say, okay, to God only, what about others? So many other living beings actually are in need of help. And the answer is when we serve God, all living beings are included inside Him. There is nothing other than God. Everything is included inside Krishna. So if the mentality of service to God comes, automatically it translates into a bhav by which we offer ourselves readily to help anybody else too. Anybody else in need, we help them. And when we do our regular work, our day-to-day activities, our day-to-day work, it's not that social service is some kind of, or this seva is some kind of a extracurricular activity. Okay, when I do my job, I'll do my job, but I'll do seva separately. No, our work itself becomes our seva because it's pleasing to Bhagavan if we do it with a pure heart. If we do it with purity, sincerity, with the way in which that work is meant to be done, whatever work we are supposed to do. Okay, all of us are in different occupations. We are not all in the same occupation. And even if we are in the same occupation, our respective responsibilities may be different. But doing that responsibility very sincerely with the thinking that this will be very pleasing to Bhagavan. It will be very pleasing to him if I do this honestly, sincerely, and the way in which it is meant to be done without hurting anybody, without cheating anybody, being very genuine and fulfilling the purpose for which I am doing this work, for which I am getting some payment or something in return. Let me do it. Let me do it in a way that I give more to the people who are receiving my work than I take back from them. Let me do it in a way that I give more than I take back. Okay. This is the best way to do it. And this is called Seva Bhav. And this is the core of that thing called prema, that love, that pure love. And when we give this, you see, there is a rule in this universe, and this is the law of God actually, that what we give comes back to us many times multiplied. So what we give, if we give hatred, if we give duplicity, if we give anger, it will come back to us, no doubt about it. But if we give love, even to the person who is giving us hatred, even to the person who is duplicitous with us, even to the person who is, insulting to us. If we are able to, if we have the strength, it takes a lot of strength to do that. It's not easy. But if we are able to reciprocate in a way that doesn't give hatred back, but gives only justice, gives only love, then the universe rewards us. Sri Bhagavan rewards us with unlimited love. And this love gives us the experience of complete fulfillment deep inside. Once we get this, there is nothing more to get. It manifests from the conscious connection with Bhagavan. This pure love is possible only when there is connection with Bhagavan. And this is because the reason for this is that Sri Bhagavan is the ocean of genuine love. It is his Antaranga Shakti. This Shakti called prema is present inside him. And it is what we refer to also by the name of Radha. And this love is not only so sweetening and fulfilling inside, but it binds God to oneself. Just like we saw in all the examples, beginning with Draupadi, we saw how God is bound to that bhakta. When the bhakta calls, God is there at that service. Of course, it's not that we think that God should be at my service. No bhakta will think like that. No bhakta will think that God should be at my service and therefore I should practice love. It's never like that. It's always that I am a servant of God. But in his mind, God thinks like that. He thinks that I am a servant of my bhaktas. So his mentality of Seva Bhav is that exemplary model for us to emulate. And therefore, genuine love is the perfection of all existence. You see, even in this material world, even in this material existence, if the question is asked, what is that which gives us the best happiness? Okay, even if we are not talking about God, we're just talking about normal material life. What is it in material life that gives us the best happiness? Now, if you look at all the different answers which can be, which can be given for this question, then the best answer would be it is love. Okay, whether it's the love of a child or the love of a parent or the love of a brother or sister or love of a dog, whatever it is, when love comes, there is nothing that can replace love. The same it is with love for God. When that pure love, which is far superior to the love that we experience in this material existence, that pure, unadulterated love is experienced by us, there is nothing superior to that. It compensates for anything else or everything else. Okay, so today's meditation was on this genuine love, and Sri Bhagavan is that ocean of genuine love. And today is the day on which we celebrate his manifestation in this in front of us. He's always present everywhere, all the time, but he manifests himself every now and then. And in his manifestation as Krishna, his manifestation as Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, Devaki, Nanda, Yashoda, the purpose for that manifestation is to give us this prema. In particular, prema, not anything else. So for that prema, he came, and he is also called the Prema Avatara. With these few words, I will stop. I will now unmute you should you want to ask me a question or say anything that you would like to share with us. Let me first unmute all of you. Anybody is welcome to speak. Yes, this is also called the Damodara Leela, the last Leela that I narrated. I hope you liked all the narratives.
Yes, sir, definitely. It was a very amazing session.
Thank you.
I also got to know that, like, in weekends, you are taking class on Bhagavad-Gita. So I would
Yes.
request if that can happen on weekdays. Is it possible?
Yes, yes. Yeah, it can happen. Pardon me, what did you say? What is the last part of your question?
I was just asking that if the Bhagavad Gita classes can happen any day on weekday rather than a weekend.
Yeah, and on weekend anyway, we have a class, but now some of you have asked me to conduct Bhagavad Gita class again from beginning to end. So right now, we are not doing Bhagavad Gita on the weekend. We are doing Bhagavatam, the Dashamaskanda of Bhagavatam. Because we completed Bhagavad Gita, but we will start Bhagavad Gita again after your term one is over, since the people who requested me are in term one of their FPM. So
Yes,
I told Ashita and others. I think Kiran, you are also connected to her.
yes, yes.
So I said after your term one is over, sometime maybe in the middle of October, if term two begins. we will start systematically Bhagavad Gita again, and we'll go through all the concepts, and we'll try to identify if any of those concepts can be brought into your research also. If any of you wish,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
if
Yeah.
anything, it's possible to
I'll
do.
I'll discuss with you personally. I have something to discuss.
Oh, yes, sure, sure. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're most welcome.
Thank you, sir. So it was like I could not do Janmashtami prayers today because of some things at home. But
Okay.
I think this 1 hour contemplation on God was more like a prayer. Thank you so much.
Rohit, you asked something?
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Yes, sir. Pranam, sir. Sir, I
Pranam.
wanted to understand what the Ras Leela exactly is, and is there a deeper esoteric meaning to it? From what I understand, it is sort of a divine play uh, where is lost, everybody is lost in his stupor. People who are bhaktas of Bhagwan are lost in his stupor in dance and singing. But is there a deeper meaning to it?
Well, Rohit, to be honest with you, I don't have a deep understanding of Ras Leela, but one thing I can tell you what it is not. For sure, it is not lust. It is not what we in this world call lust between boys and girls or between men and women that we see in this world. It is definitely not that. I'm saying this emphatically because, the mundane world thinks of it like that. Many people think it is like that. It is definitely not that. And definitely, one more thing I can tell you, it is situated in pure Seva Bhav. Whatever it is Seva Bhav. It's an expression of Seva Bhav, selflessness. There is no lust in it. And secondly, it is completely situated in the bhav of selflessness. Seva Bhav is a bhav of selflessness, what I can do for the other person. So these two things I can tell you, but I don't have any deeper understanding of the Ras Leela than that much. I am yet to study it from the authoritative texts. So please forgive me for not giving you full clarity on that. In future, maybe I will be able to answer it.
Got it, sir. Thank you. Sir, also another question.
Yes.
Sri Krishna Bhagwan was born tonight at the
Hmm.
midnight moment.
Hmm.
Sir, is there any way to, what is the correct way to observe Janmashtami? What is the correct way to observe this Prakotsav of Bhagwan?
Different sampradayas observe it in different ways. In some sampradayas, there is an abhishek done at midnight, and until midnight, prayers are chanted. In a lot of North India, it is done like that. Until midnight, uh, nobody has food. Also, they fast, and sometimes if they are unable to fast perfectly, they fast with some substances like fruits or water and juices and things like that. And at midnight, the prayers are stopped, and then abhishek is done. And abhishek is done for Bhagavan, for his Vigraha. And after the abhishek, which gets over by 1 a.m. or 1:30 a.m., some prasadam is served to everyone. And after that, people go to bed by about 3 o'clock in the morning. And then next day is called Nandotsava. Nandotsava means the day on which the house of Nanda and Yashoda, because the birth of that child happened close to midnight. The baby girl was born to them, right? And they didn't know it's a girl because when they wake up, they find the boy. They find boy Krishna there. So they decide that we have had a boy. Mother Yashoda has given birth to a boy, and they celebrate. Of course, if it was a girl also, they would have celebrated. So that day of celebration, the second day, is called Nandotsava, because in Nanda's house in Vraja, in Gokula, there is a huge celebration. All the gopis, gopas, they come, they bring butter, milk, and gifts, and they throw on each other's bodies, and they have a grand feast. So here, what is done is in temples in India, they have a feast on the next day. They offer a lot of different types of food to Bhagavan, and they have an arati, and then they serve a big feast to everyone. Anyway, on Janmashtami day, they are fasting. They cannot have their normal food. So next day, they have a huge feast. That is how Janmashtami is celebrated in many places. And of course, we also know in some places, some of the leelas of Krishna are enacted. And one of the leelas is to break the pot. And you know that in some places, they use that human ladder where people climb on each other and then they break that pot. So that's another beautiful activity that happens. In South India, there are slight differences. In Tamil Nadu, I know make the footsteps of Krishna from the door to the puja room as Krishna is coming into the house on that day. So, and then a lot of guests come in the evening. There's a lot of, bhajans of Krishna sung all over India. This Krishna Janmashtami is celebrated all over India. Probably one of our biggest festivals. So there's variety. Of course, some people fast until the next day's sunrise. They don't break the fast at midnight also. They fast until sunrise and then they think, even if they don't do Abhishek and all that. Not everybody can do Abhishek, right? So they just fast and then they have a big feast next day. I've given you a very summary kind of answer. I guess there's a lot more to this answer than what I said.
Got it, sir. Thank you.
Okay, Arunabha, you have something to ask?
Yes, sir. Pranam, sir. Actually, I'm also on fast today.
Good.
So,
Good.
anyways, so the question I had was that just now you narrated the fact that we should have prema towards everyone. Even if someone doesn't do good to me, I should be good to the person. So that's what I understand from this, sir. Now, given the fact that this is the essence based on which we have been discussing the various scriptures and all those stuff, then if this was the essence, then why did we eventually Mahabharata went into Kurukshetra? Right? There was a pushback. Right? Even they were good. They were always good, but Duryodhana was not not playing along with the was not changing. So eventually there was a pushback from Pandavas, and then Kurukshetra was inevitable. Right? So I believe there is a. I mean, I'm trying to just connect the dots over here, sir. If you can help me with that, sir.
Yeah, sure, sure. So, prema, having prema, pure love, does not mean only one type of action. It doesn't mean always going and speaking nice words to somebody. It doesn't mean always going and hugging someone or shaking hands with someone or keeping or saying things like "I love you" or something like that. No, that is not the meaning of prema. Uh, Prema is actually seva bhav. I want to do what is good for this world. It is seva to the entire world, to the individual as well as to the world. But if an individual goes against dharma, if an individual acts against dharma, then he is harming the world, right? He is doing aseva, he is doing the opposite of seva, and he is preventing others from experiencing their seva bhav and their happiness. He is coming in the way of others' welfare and well being. To such a person, even the person who has prema in his heart will deal with him accordingly. He has to be punished. If a person is doing adharma, he needs to be punished in an appropriate measure. So that is why you see Krishna himself, he punishes Shishupala. He tolerates him until he abuses 100 times and then he beheads him with Sudarshan Chakra, right? So similarly, everywhere. And Krishna himself wants this war. Why? Because that is the way to deal with Duryodhana and all the others, not in any other way. Duryodhana and all the others are sworn practitioners of adharma. Nobody practices adharma as much as they do, right? Nobody can excel, them in adharma. So the best way to deal with them is to eliminate them, remove them, and eliminate them in a way that the world will know how they were eliminated. Do you follow? But our default condition, it's not that we have to think everybody is a Duryodhana. By default, a saintly person does not think others as potential Duryodhanas or Ravanas. He thinks of them as nice people. But potentially, they are nice people until proven otherwise. So, by potentially, when you see somebody you don't know or you are going to interact with them, you treat them nicely by default. And if situations come to that point where you have to treat them otherwise, then you don't hesitate to do so. Because you know that Bhagavan also wants that. Ultimately, what does Bhagavan want? He wants the well being of all his living beings. He wants our ultimate well being. That's what is in his mind, right? So, acting on his behalf, we do what is appropriate for our role in that picture. Do you follow, Arunabha?
Sir. So then a follow-up question on this, like because I am seeing a situation from my perspective, the other person would be seeing a situation from his or her perspective,
Yeah,
right? So there is a bias. There's a bias that comes into the judgment. Every
yes,
judgment comes along with a bias.
yeah.
So then, how do we know whether I am at the side of adharma or the other side is on the is on side of adharma, right? So The frame of
Well,
reference. How do we know which frame of reference is correct?
Dharma and adharma, dharma is defined in very absolute terms. There is no relativity in dharma. It is not like my dharma, his dharma. It's not about my self-interest and his self-interest. Dharma is defined with all the qualities given in Bhagavad Gita. For example, ahimsa, satya, asteya, being, non-harmful, non-troublesome to others, telling the truth always, giving dan, that is part of dharma. There's so many good qualities of dharma. Speaking politely, speaking with respect, never hurting anybody with our words, beginning with the mind, not even in the mind, not in speech, not hurting anybody in action, always working for the welfare of other people or welfare of the context in which we are working, doing good. So, if the other person has a different point of view, maybe they also want to do good, but in a different way, then it's a matter of just agreeing upon something or the other, right? Agreeing upon,
Right, sir.
okay, we can do it, and the same good thing can be done in two different ways. Then you just agree upon something. You propose your way, let them propose their way, and reach a solution without quarreling with that person. Agree, make that person also happy, and you also are happy. You compromised on something, that's fine. But ultimately, the good comes out of it. But if
Sir.
you see something bad coming out of what the other person wants, the other person is trying to swindle, the other person is trying to cheat the system, trying to beat the system, and is now fighting with me because they want to beat the system, then you have to take remedial measure. You don't have to agree with them. You have to go consult the appropriate authorities or use your power if you have the power to, you know, if you have the power to prevent the person directly without taking anybody else's help, then do that. Otherwise, take the appropriate authorities' help and prevent that to the extent that you can, given your circumstances. So all this is
Sir.
context specific. We have to apply it in
It's
the
context
context.
specific. Yeah, it is
Yeah,
becomes very context specific. Right, sir.
yeah, yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Good. Bhaskar?
Good evening, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, Bhaskar, I can hear you.
Yes, sir. So my question is actually an extension of the discussion that we just had, right? And in fact,
Yeah.
it came to me yesterday. It was our Independence Day yesterday, and then the two presidents of US and Russia were meeting yesterday.
No.
And this question came to my mind, sir. What does Gita teach us in the context of our love for the nation today, right? And given there is so much geopolitical chaos all around, while whatever we have learned from Gita and what this slide say is pure love for everybody.
Yeah.
But the world we are in today just cannot be pure love for everybody. I mean, everybody is watching out just for themselves in today's context, right? So what
Yes.
does Gita teaches us in today's world in the context of our country? What are the Indians we should do or anybody else should do? Was my question, sir.
Well, the Gita doesn't talk about a country in particular. It doesn't talk about the country in which a person lives, but it talks about living beings in general, how one's attitude towards other living beings should be. First of all, the attitude of being, equanimous, etc., which we just spoke about. But more importantly, when you see specific things happening in the world, how do you interpret them? You interpret them through how this material world runs, Prakriti. We spoke a lot about how samsara runs, and one of the key points there was how the three gunas of Prakriti, sattva, rajas, and tamas, how they control everything. So people who act in different ways, like now we see bitter fighting between different parties across the world. Different countries are fighting, and in between, the president of the United States is trying to claim credit wherever he can, right? Whether he did something or not, he wants to say he did it. So all this kind of behavior we can easily make out is driven by adharma, predominantly adharma, which is driven by the gunas of rajas and tamas. Rajas and tamas, they take one more and more towards adharma. Between the two of them, tamas is definitely the worse one. Rajas is better, but rajas also has a tendency to make one greedy, make one lusty, greedy, and it drives these kind of actions. So when we look at the world situation through the lens of Bhagavad Gita, the first thing to see is how the three gunas of Prakriti are controlling everybody. And it's impossible for me to stop that. I cannot do anything about it. What I can do is, in my context, work in a way that is harmonious with society. My actions See, first of all, begin with yourself. And my actions should be such that the people who are affected by my actions should be benefited. It should have a positive impact on them. This is what is in our control. The whole country is not in our control. Okay, now suppose you are in the shoes of Prime Minister, and in this case, Prime Minister Modi ji. Now, if you are in his shoes, what will you think? You will think, "Oh, my actions influence whom? First of all, they influence the people of my own country, of India. And then they influence people of other countries as well, because India's relationship with other countries influences them too. So he would think, probably, if he is a bhakta of Krishna, then his thinking would be that I should take actions in such a way that there is maximum benefit for everybody. Right? I may not be able to stop the Ukraine-Russia war or the Israel-Palestine war, the Hamas war. I cannot stop those things. That's probably not in my control. Nor can I stop this US president from speaking whatever comes to his mind. I cannot stop that too. I can't stop so many things, but what can I do? So I can do these things by which my countrymen, first his responsibility is towards his countrymen. So he would first think, what is it that I should do by which my countrymen will get the best benefit, and it will strengthen my country. And then he would think, how would it also have a positive influence on others, other countries, people who are connected to us, and so on. That's the best that you can do in this samsara. And that would be very pleasing to Bhagavan. Thinking about everything is driven by the thinking about how my actions positively, influence others. That is the core of the thinking.
Thank you, sir.
Does it address your question?
It does, sir. It's very it's not very simple to understand, and it's not in black and white, sir. There are a lot of shades of gray,
Yes.
right? When we are
Yeah.
discussing this,
Correct.
and it's
So,
also a lot left to a lot of judgment and
yes.
contextual and all those stuff, right?
Yes.
Uh,
So ultimately, the intention matters. So whether you took a right decision or not, the intention with which you took the decision, that is what is pleasing or displeasing to Bhagavan. That is where the love is reflected, right? Because it's understood that nobody can control everything. We can control our intentions, and through the intentions, we can control our actions. And that is what we can do. That's what the Gita teaches us.
right, sir. Thank you, sir.
Good. Anyone else has anything to ask or to say, or shall we conclude for today? We are nearing the closing time. Okay, so I just want to conclude with this thing, that we should seek from God not mundane wealth, nor power, nor position, nor fame, but seek from Him a drop of pure love, because there is no substitute for that with a worthy name. So pure love is the ultimate thing that we can aspire for. So with this, I'll do the Antyamangalam after announcing what we already discussed. We have this Satkatha every Sunday evening. So those of you who are not a part of it, if you wish to join, please feel free to write to me. Now going forward. ॐ स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यो शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे धन्यवादाः पुनर्मिलामः थैंक यू